Today's daily word, or should I say words, are tell them what you know. And let me tell you what I know. Let me tell you what I know. Real simple. Number one, God is real, God exists. This is something that I know. I know this, so obviously I believe it. But it's something that I know. Jesus is real. I know this. So I'm telling you what I know. Not what I think, what I know. And not only what I know, obviously what I believe. And always remember this. It's a difference between knowing something and not knowing something. When you go take a test, you didn't study for the material, you don't understand the material, you failed the test, you went there to do something and you didn't know. You didn't have the information and you failed. But I'm telling you something that I know. I'll be telling you some things that I know. I know that God is real. I know that Jesus is real. I know that they exist. Key word, I know. When I think about knowing something, and I think about the teachings of God and the teachings of Jesus when it's about faith and belief. Do you remember when Jesus was talking to Thomas? And Thomas was basically saying, when he was resurrected, when Jesus was resurrected, and all the disciples was telling Thomas, hey, the rabbi came back, or master came back, or the teacher came back, we seen him and all that. What was Thomas's reaction to this? Thomas's initial reaction was like, well, I'm not going to believe anything, or until I can put my hands in his side and I can put my fingers in his palms. So basically, Thomas wanted empirical information or knowledge that it existed. Remember that? So, what did Jesus do when he came and Thomas was present in the time that Jesus came? This is after the resurrection. He had Thomas come over to him at some point. And he had Thomas take his finger, and he put it through Jesus' palms where the nail was placed at crucifixion. And he also touched the side where he was speared, where it's a combination of water and blood poured off. And he did that. And one of the key things that Jesus did that's so incredibly important, he told Thomas, he said, blessed is those that believe without seeing. In other words, Thomas, you're lucky that you were able to witness firsthand and see the miracle that was Jesus. But what about the ones who may not see Jesus like Thomas seen Jesus? And there's more to it. That's where the faith and the belief come in. The faith. And it's a spiritual connection that tightens that faith up. But it was a message. Basically, it was a message to all of us. Hey, you might not see me, but I did exist, and there's truth behind all the words that I said. Jesus speaking, of course. But you had a select few that was there with him. Blessed is those that believe without seeing. Thomas, I believe. No, he's seen it with his own eyes. But before then, he didn't. When the others said, hey, the rabbi is back, or the brother is back, for the teacher is back. He's here. And Thomas, I won't believe it without actually seeing it with my eyes and being there to witness it. And when Thomas went through the process of sticking his finger in Jesus' palms and on his side, and Jesus tells him, blessed are those that believe without seeing. That goes back to what we initially start talking about here, is let me tell you what I know. I know that God exists. I know that Jesus exists. I believe in God, always have. I believe in Jesus, always have. I just reflect back on a lot of things that happened in my life that I know that it was divine intervention that prevented a potential catastrophe for me. I remember when I was in the military many years ago, and I was in a vehicle. I used to drive for this officer, and it was on. We was at something called a reforger, and I was on an icy mountain in Germany, and I remember driving, and I remember and how their streets and their roads are, especially in the mountainy areas, is not wide or by any imagination. It's not wide at all. It's like pretty narrow streets, two-way streets, but real narrow. But I was going around a mountain, a cliff, and I remember this, and I'll never forget this. And I was a new stick shift driver, so I'm driving for this officer, and I'm new with the stick shift. And I remember going down this, we was on this icy hill, and the vehicle was sliding or whatever, and I remember downshifting. And I remember the vehicle was slowly moving to the right, I apologize, to the right. And I was falling off, I was about to go off a cliff, and just the vehicle, the Jeep I was in, we were just gonna be goners. And I remember the vehicle sliding over. And then out of nowhere, it just seemed like something just caught the vehicle, stopped it from sliding off the cliff, and slid it back over. And I continued down this hill. And I remember the officer that I was driving for at the time, he was going crazy and screaming and yelling. But right then and there, I knew that it was some divine intervention that came and moved this vehicle from falling off the cliff, because the vehicle was right on the edge, and I had a trailer on the back of my Jeep that was going off the edge of the cliff. And all of a sudden, it just seemed like something lifted it up a little bit, scooted it back over to the road, and caught a good patch of the street that I was driving on, and was able to get out of that scenario. There's been many other times that I was involved in situations where it was like, well, just, pray, whatever's going to happen, I got to deal with this situation, and I can't get out of this situation, life-threatening situation. And on numerous occasions, it was always something through the grace of God that protected me. Talk to you soon. God bless.